Hey, my friend, let's be honest for a second. Have you ever sat at your desk, opened your textbook, stared at the first page, and then nothing? Your eyes are moving across the words, but your brain is somewhere else. Maybe it's thinking about the fight you had yesterday. Maybe it's replaying that embarrassing thing you said 2 weeks ago. Or maybe it's just busy scrolling TikTok videos inside your head. Either way, your body is here, but your mind is everywhere else. And the funny thing is, we've all been there. You want to study, you really do. Exams are coming, deadlines are screaming, your parents are asking why you're not working harder. And yet, your brain refuses to cooperate. It's like trying to open 50 tabs on a laptop that's already overheating. What happens? The system crashes. That's exactly what happens to your brain when it's overloaded with thoughts. So today we're going to talk about something most schools never teach you: how to clear your mind. Not in some vague, be positive way, but in a real, practical, scientifically proven way. Because here's the truth: you don't need more hours in the day to study better. You need more clarity in your mind. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine walking into a messy room. Clothes everywhere, books scattered, empty snack wrappers hiding under the bed. You want to find your notebook, but good luck with that. It's probably buried under 3 layers of chaos. That's what your brain looks like when you carry around stress, regrets, overthinking, comparison, fear, guilt, and anxiety. You can't see the mess, but you feel it. And just like that messy room, the clutter in your brain makes it almost impossible to focus on what really matters. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Yeah, okay, that sounds nice. But my brain doesn't come with a cleanup button. And you're right, it doesn't. But the good news is, science shows that there are reliable ways to reset, declutter, and refresh your mind, almost like giving your brain a daily shower. In fact, researchers at Brown University found that our minds can actually learn the skill of optimal inattention, basically the ability to ignore the useless stuff and focus only on what matters. That's the skill we need for studying. And here's the thing: a cluttered mind creates a restless life. A clean mind builds a powerful one. Just like you brush your teeth every day, your mind needs a daily reset, a way to release what doesn't serve you and refill it with clarity and strength. So let's start with the very first step. Point 1. Mental silence in the morning. Think about it. What's the first thing you do when you wake up? Be honest. For most people, it's grabbing the phone. Notifications, messages, Instagram stories, TikTok feeds. Within 5 minutes of opening your eyes, the outside world has already invaded your brain. Thoughts rushing in, some exciting, some stressful, some completely unnecessary. And just like that, your mind, which was calm a minute ago, is now flooded with noise. But here's the crazy part. Your brain in those first few minutes after waking up is at its softest. It's like fresh snow, untouched. Whatever footsteps you put on it will stay for the rest of the day. So why not start with silence? Why not give yourself just 5 minutes of mental space before the world barges in? Now, don't get scared. I'm not asking you to sit cross-legged and chant Om for an hour. Mental silence doesn't mean becoming a monk. It simply means sitting up, closing your eyes, breathing, and doing nothing for a few minutes. No phone, no rushing thoughts, just space. Think of it as brushing your mind, not your teeth. This tiny habit has a huge payoff. It resets your nervous system. It lowers anxiety. It gives you control over your thoughts instead of letting random thoughts control you. And most importantly, in that silence, you can actually hear your inner voice, the one that whispers what you truly need today, what really matters, what you should focus on. That's gold. That's clarity. Let me share something personal. Back when I was in school, I used to wake up and immediately panic about everything I had to do. My mornings were chaos, and that chaos stayed with me all day long. Later, when I started giving myself 5 minutes of silence in the morning, something shifted. It felt like my brain went from overloaded laptop to freshly restarted system. The tasks didn't change. The exams didn't disappear. but I had the mental strength to face them. And guess what? Neuroscience backs this up. A study from Wake Forest University found that just 8 weeks of meditation, or even small doses of daily silence, literally changed the brain structure. The areas that control focus and memory become stronger. Imagine that. Your brain becoming more focused just because you gave it permission to breathe. So tomorrow morning, before you grab your phone, grab your breath. Before you scroll, sit in silence. Before you talk to anyone else, listen to yourself. Your day will feel lighter, calmer, and more focused than ever. Now, once you've given your mind that gift of silence, there's another big step. Point 2, letting go of yesterday every single day. Think about it. Have you ever woken up already feeling tired, even though nothing has happened yet? That's not today's stress. That's yesterday's baggage. The fight you had, the mistake you made, the guilt, the regrets, they don't magically disappear at night. They sit in your mental storage like old files cluttering up your computer. And the worst part? Unlike your computer, your brain doesn't have an automatic delete button. So what happens? Those old memories keep running in the background, slowing everything down. You try to study, but part of your brain is busy replaying that embarrassing thing you said. You want to focus on math, but your heart is still holding on to yesterday's pain. And suddenly, studying feels impossible. The solution? End each day with a ritual of release. Before you go to bed, sit for 5 minutes and ask yourself, what am I still holding on to that I don't want to carry into tomorrow? Maybe it was a harsh word someone said. Maybe it was a mistake you made. Maybe it's just the pressure of not doing enough. Whatever it is, acknowledge it, and then say, I release this. I won't carry this into tomorrow. You can even write it down in a notebook. Literally write the words, I release this. I am free. It sounds simple, but it's powerful. Over time, it trains your brain to stop clinging to pain. It teaches your heart to breathe again. And you wake up lighter, freer, ready to actually focus. Because let's face it, you can't drive forward while staring at the rearview mirror. You can't study for tomorrow's exam while carrying the weight of last week's mistakes. Clarity doesn't just come from what you do today. It comes from what you stop dragging in from yesterday. And if you think this is just motivational talk, here's a scientific twist. Researchers at the University of Cambridge found that the brain has actual mechanisms for forgetting. Yes, your brain can choose to let go of unwanted memories by either suppressing them or substituting them with something new. So when you actively say, I release this, you're not being dramatic. You're literally training your brain to engage the circuits that let go. That's not just healing, that's science. So tonight, try it. Don't go to bed carrying the entire weight of yesterday. Write it down. Say it out loud. Free yourself, because a clear mind is a focused mind. Now let's move to another powerful way to clear your mind. Something most people ignore, even though it's quietly shaping their life every single day. Point 3, protect your mind from toxic input. Your mind is like a garden. Whatever you plant in it, that's what will grow. But here's the thing, most of us aren't planting our garden carefully. Instead of filling it with seeds of peace, hope, and wisdom, we're letting weeds grow, news headlines shouting negativity, social media feeds showing you the perfect lives of people you'll never meet, gossip that adds zero value to your future. And without even realizing it, you've been feeding your brain junk food all day. Let me be straight with you. What you feed your mind becomes your mindset. Just like eating junk food every day makes your body sluggish, consuming toxic input makes your thoughts heavy and scattered. Ever wondered why you feel anxious for no clear reason? Why you suddenly feel less confident, or stuck, or even sad? It's not magic. It's what you've been consuming mentally. So if you want a clearer mind, start being ruthless about your input. Don't let mental garbage in. Unfollow pages that always make you feel less than. Mute voices that drain your energy. Replace endless doom scrolling with podcasts that teach you, books that inspire you, music that soothes you, or conversations with people who uplift you. Remember, you can't stop all the noise in the world, but you can choose which channel you turn up. And that choice, that filter you create, is your mental freedom. Point 4, write it out. The power of journaling. Let me ask you something. Have you ever tried to sleep, but your brain kept running through the same thoughts, like a playlist on repeat? You're lying in bed, lights off, but your brain is blasting top 10 worst moments of my life at full volume. Yeah, we've all been there. And here's the cure: journaling. I know it sounds too simple, but writing your thoughts down is like taking out the mental trash. Science agrees. Research shows journaling reduces intrusive thoughts, lowers stress, and improves working memory. Basically, when you dump your thoughts on paper, your brain doesn't have to carry all that weight anymore. And the best part, once your thoughts are on paper, you can see patterns you didn't notice before. Maybe you realize every time you spend too much time online, you feel worse. Maybe you notice your stress is always higher after talking to a certain person. Journaling makes the invisible visible. You don't need to be a writer. You don't need fancy words. Just be honest. Take 5 minutes at night. Write down, what stressed me out today? What made me happy? What's spinning in my head right now? That's it. Your brain will sigh with relief, and when you sleep, it will finally rest instead of wrestling with endless thoughts. Point 5, forgive often, even when no one apologizes. This one is heavy, but listen closely. One of the biggest weights cluttering your mind isn't your homework, isn't your exams. It's unforgiveness. When someone hurts you, intentionally or not, you carry the story. They betrayed me. They were unfair. They didn't care. And that story doesn't live in their body. It lives in yours. It sits there, replaying over and over, stealing your peace and hijacking your focus. Here's the truth. Forgiveness isn't about saying what they did was okay. It's about saying, I won't let what they did live in my mind anymore. Because unforgiveness is poison you drink, hoping the other person suffers. Spoiler, it only hurts you. And forgiveness doesn't need to be loud. You don't need to call the person and make it dramatic. You can do it silently in your own heart. You sit with yourself, feel the pain, acknowledge it, and then tell yourself, this hurt me, but I'm done carrying it. I choose peace. I choose to forgive. Sometimes you'll need to repeat it 100 times. That's okay. Healing is a process, not a one-time event. And let's not forget, sometimes the hardest person to forgive is yourself. For the mistakes you made, for the signs you ignored, for the wrong choices. But here's the thing. You can't study with clarity while carrying a mental backpack full of guilt. You have to forgive yourself too. Because a clean mind isn't a mind that never got hurt. It's a mind that learned to heal and move forward. Point 6, declutter your physical space. Here's a simple but underrated truth. Your environment is your second mind. Have you ever noticed how a messy desk makes it 10 times harder to study? You sit down, but instead of focusing on your book, your eyes keep wandering to the pile of clothes, the snack wrappers, the random sticky notes, and you feel restless without even knowing why. That's because external clutter creates internal clutter. So here's what you do. Clean your space. Not once in a while, but consistently. Start small, maybe just one drawer, one corner of your desk. Ask yourself, does this item bring value to my life, or is it just taking up space? If it's the second, let it go. Throw it out, donate it, or put it away. And don't forget your digital spacing, your phone gallery, your inbox, your social media feed. They can be just as messy as your room. Delete what you don't need. Unfollow what distracts you. Create room for clarity. Because here's the magic. When your environment is calm, your thoughts follow. You breathe deeper. You focus easier. And suddenly studying doesn't feel like torture. It feels manageable, even enjoyable. Point 7, focus on one thing at a time. We live in a world that worships multitasking. Everyone brags about how many things they can juggle at once. But here's the irony. Multitasking doesn't make you smarter. It makes you scattered. When you bounce between tabs, between your phone, your notes, your group chat, your brain never fully engages with anything. It's like trying to water 10 plants at once with one tiny cup of water. None of them get enough. But when you focus on one thing, magic happens. Your mind calms down, your concentration sharpens, and you get the sweet satisfaction of completion. Science even shows that the brain releases dopamine, the I did it chemical, when you finish something. That's why single tasking builds momentum. So here's a challenge. Next time you study, pick one subject, one page, one problem, and pour your attention into it fully. No extra tabs, no checking your phone every 2 minutes, just one thing. You'll be shocked how peaceful it feels, almost like giving your brain a deep breath. Remember, life isn't about doing everything at once. It's about doing the right things, one at a time, with your full heart. Point 8, practice gratitude, shift your mental lens. You know what's funny? The human brain is like Velcro for negative experiences and Teflon for positive ones. Bad stuff sticks immediately. Good stuff slips away unless we hold on to it intentionally. That's why one bad comment can ruin your whole day, even if 10 people praised you earlier. So how do we clear the mental clutter of negativity? Gratitude. And no, I don't mean fake Instagram-style gratitude posts. I mean sitting with yourself and saying, what is still good in my life right now? What can I appreciate, even if it's small? Science proves it works. Researchers at UC Davis found that people who kept a gratitude journal reported better moods, slept more soundly, and had stronger immune systems. Why? Because gratitude literally rewires your brain to notice the good instead of obsessing over the bad. And here's how you make it practical. At the end of the day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Well, they don't have to be big. Maybe it's, I had a warm meal. My friend texted me something funny. I survived another math class. Over time, your brain learns to spot the blessings instead of the burdens. And guess what? A grateful mind is a clear mind because it stops chasing what's missing and starts enjoying what's present. Point 9, stay curious, turn studying into discovery. Let's be honest, studying feels heavy when it's just obligation. I have to memorize this. I have to pass that. But what if you switched your mindset from obligation to curiosity? Instead of, I have to learn this, try, I get to discover this. Think about kids. When they're curious, they can spend hours taking apart a toy or asking endless why questions. Their brains are on fire with focus, not because someone forced them, but because curiosity opened the door. Neuroscience shows curiosity actually activates the brain's reward system. Dopamine flows, making the process feel enjoyable. That's why time flies when you're genuinely interested in something. So here's the trick. Even if the subject isn't your passion, find a thread of curiosity inside it. Studying history? Ask yourself, how would I have survived if I lived back then? Studying biology? How does this apply to my own body right now? Studying math? Where does this show up in the real world? Curiosity clears your mind because it replaces dread with wonder. And once your brain tastes wonder, focus follows naturally. Point 10, take real breaks. Don't fight your brain, recharge it. Most students make one of two mistakes. Either they don't take breaks at all, or they confuse breaks with distractions. Here's the truth. Your brain isn't built for marathon concentration. It works in cycles. Research shows the brain can deeply focus for about 50 to 90 minutes before it needs recovery. Ignore that, and your focus crumbles. Respect it, and your focus skyrockets. So when you study, plan your breaks. Every hour or so, step away. Not to scroll Instagram for another dose of noise, but to really rest your brain. Stretch, drink water, walk outside, close your eyes, breathe. Do something that refreshes instead of drains. Think of your brain like a muscle. You wouldn't do bicep curls nonstop for 4 hours. That's injury waiting to happen. You lift, you rest, you grow. Same with focus. You study, you rest, you return sharper. And here's a bonus. Breaks aren't laziness. They're strategy. The most productive people on earth don't work nonstop. They master the rhythm of effort and recovery. If you want long-term focus, don't just study harder, study smarter. Point 11, move your body. Exercise clears the mental fog. You might think studying happens only in your head, but your body is the hidden engine behind your brain power. When you sit all day, your blood circulation slows, your energy dips, and your mind gets foggy. That's why after a long Netflix binge, you feel drained even though you didn't do anything. Exercise changes that. Just 20 minutes of movement, walking, stretching, dancing in your room, pumps oxygen to your brain, releases endorphins, and melts away stress. Harvard researchers even call exercise the miracle drug for the brain because it improves memory, attention, and mood all at once. And you don't need a gym membership. Do jumping jacks between chapters. Go for a quick walk after lunch. Play basketball with friends. The point isn't performance, it's movement. Every time you move, you shake loose the mental cobwebs, and suddenly, your mind feels lighter, sharper, more alive. Point 12, use music wisely, sound as a mental reset. Have you noticed how music can completely change your mood? One sad song and you're crying. One hype song and you're unstoppable. That's because music taps straight into your emotional brain. So why not use it to clear your mind? Studies show certain kinds of music, especially instrumental, classical, or ambient sounds, can boost concentration and reduce anxiety. It's like giving your brain a rhythm to ride on. But here's the key, be intentional. Not all music helps. If you play songs with heavy lyrics, your brain will split attention between studying and processing the words. That's why instrumental playlists or nature sounds work better for focus. And don't underestimate silence either. Sometimes the best music for your brain is none at all. Pay attention to what actually calms you and sharpens your focus, then make it your study soundtrack. Point 13, talk it out. Don't carry the weight alone. Let's be real. Sometimes your mind isn't just noisy, it's screaming. Thoughts chasing each other, problems looping nonstop. And here's the mistake many of us make. We try to wrestle it all alone, inside our heads. But your brain isn't built to be a storage unit for every emotion. Talking to someone you trust, a friend, a mentor, even writing to an imaginary listener, releases the pressure. Psychologists call it emotional ventilation. When you speak your thoughts, you move them from the chaos of your brain into the order of language. Suddenly, what felt like a monster becomes a manageable problem. And here's the magic. You don't always need advice. Sometimes just the act of being heard clears the fog. So when your brain feels heavy, Don't keep it trapped. Share it, say it, release it. Point 14, the art of unfocusing, daydream with purpose. We've been told focus is everything, and yes, focus matters. But here's the paradox. Sometimes the best way to focus is to unfocus. Neuroscientists have discovered something called the default mode network, the part of your brain that lights up when you're not actively concentrating. That's when creativity sparks, when connections form, when insights arrive out of nowhere. You know those shower thoughts? That's your brain solving problems while unfocused. So instead of punishing yourself for drifting off, schedule healthy unfocus. Take a walk with no phone. Stare at the sky. Let your mind wander gently. You'll be surprised. The answer to that math problem, the idea for that essay, the clarity for that decision, it often comes when you stop forcing it. So don't demonize daydreaming. Use it. Let it be a tool for refreshing your mental landscape. Point 15. Respect the power of sleep. There's a reason pulling all-nighters leaves you feeling like a zombie. Sleep isn't wasted time, it's brain maintenance. During deep sleep, your brain literally washes itself, clearing out toxic waste products that build up when you're awake. Without enough sleep, your memory suffers, your focus crumbles, your emotions spiral. Harvard studies show students who sleep well outperform those who sacrifice rest for cramming. Why? Because sleep doesn't just rest your body, it consolidates your memories, turning today's studying into tomorrow's knowledge. So if you want a clear mind, don't just plan your study hours, plan your sleep hours. Aim for quality rest. Protect it like your secret weapon, because nothing clears the fog like a good night's sleep. Point 16, reset with routines. Here's a hidden truth. Your mind loves rhythm. Chaos creates stress. Predictability creates peace. That's why routines are powerful. They act like mental bookmarks, signaling your brain what mode to enter. For example, if you always light a candle, put on instrumental music, and sip tea before studying, your brain starts associating that ritual with focus. It's like training a dog. The signal triggers the state. Over time, your routine becomes an anchor. The trick is to keep it simple. Don't design a 2-hour perfect morning routine you'll never stick to. Pick small, repeatable actions that bring you calm. The more consistent you are, the clearer your mental state becomes. Point 17. Remember your why. At the deepest level, a cluttered mind often comes from forgetting why we're even doing this. Studying without purpose feels heavy. But when you connect to your why, whether it's building your future, honoring your family's sacrifices, proving to yourself what you're capable of, your focus sharpens. And here's the thing, your why doesn't need to be grand. It just needs to be yours. Write it down. Put it where you can see it. Because when distraction calls, when mental noise rises, your why is the compass that brings you back. Closing. The bigger picture. So let's step back for a moment. We've covered silence, release, protection, journaling, forgiveness, decluttering, single tasking, gratitude, curiosity, breaks, exercise, music, talking it out, unfocusing, sleep, routines, and purpose. That's a lot, I know. But remember, you don't need to master all of them at once. Even one or two of these practices can create a ripple effect that clears your mind and transforms your focus. And here's the bigger truth. Studying isn't just about grades. It's about training your mind for life. A clear mind doesn't just help you pass exams. It helps you make better decisions, build stronger relationships, and live with peace. There's a quote by the philosopher Blaise Pascal. All of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Think about that. If you can master your inner world, if you can sit with yourself, clear your mind and focus, You can handle anything outside of you. So don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait for life to feel less chaotic. Start today. Take one practice, apply it, feel the shift, and watch how your mind, little by little, becomes lighter, sharper, clearer. Because at the end of the day, success doesn't come from how much noise you can handle. It comes from how much clarity you can create. And that clarity is already within you, waiting for you to claim it. So now you know, clearing your mind isn't just about feeling calm. It's about taking back your focus, your energy, and your future. Don't just listen and forget. Pick one practice from this video and try it today. And hey, if this message spoke to you, share it with a friend who might need it too. Because sometimes the best way to keep your own mind clear is to help someone else clear theirs. If you enjoyed this, make sure to hit that subscribe button so we can keep walking this journey together. Your future self will thank you.